More of the Zach Gelb Show on Fox Sports 920 The Jersey.
4:32 from the Princeton Orthopedic Associates studios. A lot of talk with the Sixers and Knicks the day after the NBA draft. The Knicks get the French guard and the Sixers with the number 1 overall pick get the person and Markelle Fultz that is going to be a part of their big three with Joel Embiid and then also Ben Simmons. Now we're going to go out to the hotline. One of the most entertaining guests in the business. That's Dick Vitale, the longtime ESPN announcer, and Dickie V is kind enough to hop on board with us right now. Dick, always great to talk to you. Thanks for the time, and how are you?
Oh, I'm doing really great, man. Just got off the station out in Golden State with Greg Papa out there. He's done a great job, and I was out there in San Fran and just been talking some hoops, a little review of the draft.
Well, you're everywhere. Now let's bring it a little bit into Philadelphia and get into the Sixers. Markelle Fultz with the number 1 overall pick. They made the trade. Give me your scouting report on the Sixers' new guard.
Well, I think when you look at them, Zach, they're going to have a nice combination here with Simmons and certainly Fultz. Simmons a great passer. I mean, has tremendous skills passing the basketball and rebounding. He's got to work a little bit more on his range as a shooter, but Fultz can take care of that. He can score in many ways. I think there'll be a really dynamite combination and excite the fans. The key for them is health. They've had so much bad luck from Noel to Embiid. You just think about Simmons. You think about the bad luck they've had physically, but they got a nice nucleus now to build around, and I think things are really looking up with Covington, and they really got some good young players.
And you look at Markelle Fultz, the tape doesn't lie, and everyone's been scrambling to watch him play with this one short season with Washington. I know the team was bad with only 9 wins, but he's such a special player. But you hear the kid talk, and you could just tell that he has that chip on his shoulder from being cut when he was a sophomore from his varsity team at DeMatha Catholic. And a lot of people are questioning if he can win because of the 9 wins last year. I really like this kid's personality, Dick.
Yeah, he really seems to be saying the right things, and now he's going to have to perform and play, and I think he'll back it up. I really do. I've never seen him in person, but I've saw some video of him, and when I've watched him, he really has a good handle, he has good vision, and he can really score. He can score the basketball big time. So I think he and Simmons will be a nice dynamite combination, but you always worry about those injuries, man, those injuries. But I think Philadelphia's going uptown. I think Colangelo's done a good job there. His dad certainly knows a lot about basketball. The guy that I'm really waiting to break out, I have it so difficult comprehending the kind of minutes he was getting throughout his career there is Okafor. I've always been a big Okafor fan. I know he's had some injuries to deal with, but he's a guy you just can't forget about.
And a lot of people here in Philadelphia, and I don't blame him, I'm one of them, we're forgetting about Okafor. Why are you so high on him? Because we haven't seen him be a productive player here in Philadelphia. It's been a big-time disappointment.
Yeah, he really has in a way, but why am I high? I mean, I saw him in college, man. He's physical, had great strength inside, rebound, score, played in a winning team. He knew how to win. Mike Krzyzewski raved about him. I think, he had some problems there off the court. I think that a lot of that affected him. Some people handle that a little differently. He's a kid with a little pride, and he was embarrassed, humiliated, and I think they got to build that up in him about, it's a thing of the past. Now move on, make good decisions, and good things are going to happen. But I think he's got ability. I really do.
You take a look, as we're talking to the great Dick Vitale right now on the Zach Gelb Show, the rich tradition of Philadelphia basketball, and this team and this city, they just want to see a winner again. You feel the excitement already with Dario Saric, Embiid, Simmons, and now Fultz, Covington as well. 14,000 season tickets already sold here in Philadelphia. Just how about this process that the Sixers have been on, where the last few years they've been an abysmal basketball team, and now it's finally an exciting time to watch the Sixers again?
Well, you're right, Zach. They do have a great following. I remember back in the early years, way before your time, the Billy Cunningham era, and certainly you think about he was so special when he played, and Wally Jones and company, and you think about certainly the Bobby Jones teams and the great teams, Dr. J and Moses and all those guys. And, really it's amazing. And Mo Cheeks was there, was a terrific player for them, and they knew how to win. And then they just really ran into so much tough luck. I mean, think about it. You lose non-players for a week or two. You lose Simmons for a year. You lose a guy like Embiid who's been out so much. I mean, here he is, a rookie of the year. He played I may be wrong on this, Zach, but I think he played 37 games.
Not a lot, yep.
Am I right there?
Yeah, no, you're right. He did not play a lot of games last year.
I know. That's really amazing. He's got so much ability and so much talent. It's just got to be a question mark. Can they keep these guys healthy? On the other side, you go up there to New York, to the Big Apple, it's been a disaster.
Oh, it's been a joke.
I put a tweet out. It was unbelievable.
You were dead on.
Huh?
You were dead on last night with your tweet about Jackson.
No, but I put the reaction. Well, you should see the reaction. Oh my God, it was unbelievable, off the charts. I mean, 90% of the people agreed with me, and then I knew as soon as I did it, I'll get some clowns to say, "Well, wait, you're going to match your record as a coach versus Phil Jackson?" I mean, give me a break. We're not talking about coaching. I mean, nobody in their right mind would say the guy didn't coach. He did a great job. He put all those great players together. Also, I'd say, I would have loved to have a shot to coach a Michael Jordan and a Scottie Pippen and a Shaquille and a Kobe. But anyway, the bottom line is we're talking about as a leader, general manager, president, basketball operations. I put up there, give me a couple of good reasons why he's the right guy for that job. He's been a nightmare. Not only that, what he's done to humiliate and to aggravate and to annoy his star players. Who does that? You want to do that behind the scenes in your office, talking to your people? Why bring down the value of players when you let other teams know you're trying to get rid of them, like Carmelo and Porzingis, of all guys? I mean, that is ludicrous. I think it's absurd. And then Jason Williams comes out on sports, I guess on Sports Reporters. He came out with a story that one of the top players said that when he was being evaluated, Jackson was sleeping. I mean, come on now. Give me a break. I mean, I don't know how valid that is if a kid's just dreaming that, but the bottom line is you look at the record. This is not the CYO, it's the NBA, and his record has been pathetic. And I will stand on that, and I will say that to my last breath until he proves to me otherwise. I think, again, he's going to have another black mark on his record because I don't believe he made the right choice at number 8. Have nothing against the kid from France. He's probably a very good prospect. But I happen to know the kid from Kentucky by the name of Malik Monk. I've seen him call his games. Malik Monk has a chance to be a star up in Charlotte because he can put points on the board. If you don't believe me, call up Roy Williams and ask what he did against North Carolina in a one-point game coming right to the wire. I think he might have hit, I don't remember exactly, 7, 8, 9 threes.
I'll tell you this, though. I absolutely love Malik Monk. And this is the tough part about the draft, because a few years ago, and I'm someone that I can't stand Phil Jackson right now with the Knicks, but everyone was ripping the Porzingis pick. How tough is it to evaluate these foreign players?
Well, it's very difficult. It's difficult to evaluate players right here. I mean, making a decision on kids, it's you don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of things that could transpire once they get all the cash, they get the adulation, they get all the people chasing them, entourages, all that. How do they handle that? Some handle it well, some can't handle it, and then all of that has to factor in. I will tell you this. My gut feeling tells me that there were 3 to 4 players better than Lonzo Ball, who went number 2 to the Lakers. I'm going to tell you for a reason. Not only his father's a sideshow. His father's an act. His father's going to be like Kardashians. It's going to be a reality show. Trust me, there'll be a reality show, the Ball family, out in L.A. Of all places, Tinseltown, Hollywood, having him, oh, man, that's going to be a nightmare. Can the kid play? Yes. Great vision, passed the ball exceptionally well, good size, questionable speed, questionable defense, and I think he's a questionable athlete. So saying all that, I would have taken that number 2, Josh Jackson. I think that is unbelievable. He slipped to 4, Phoenix. To me, he's going to be the rookie of the year. And right behind him, I would tell you, there's Fultz we know is great, and you got Jackson. I'm into De'Aaron Fox. I would have taken over Lonzo Ball, and I may have taken Tatum over him as well. And then he factors in after that, 5, 6, 7. So it means I like him, but I don't love him. And I think the Lakers are going to find out now having the father there on top. I mean, he tried to steal the spotlight from the kid right in New York. Talking about he's going to take him to the playoffs. He's going to do this. He's better than Curry. And we got a $495 shoe. Well, if he don't play really well, Zach, and there's a possibility it doesn't happen, and they don't make the playoffs, that shoe is going to go for $495, but they're going to put the decimal point after the 4.
This is why you're the best. I'll tell you, though, with Lonzo Ball, and the kid seems like he doesn't have a problem with his dad, and he did make some jokes about it in the Foot Locker commercial. I'm curious to see, though, what happens when the Lakers, because they're going to lose some games this year. I'm curious to see when the father is very critical of the teammates and the coach, how that goes down in the locker room.
Well, the kid is terrific. I will tell you this. I spoke to Steve Alford about him, so I wanted to really find out the inward situation. He told me, Dick, he said he is terrific to coach. He's a great teammate. The kids love playing with him. He passes the ball well, shoots better than people. Now the question is, can he get that shot? It's an unorthodox style. Will he get it off in the NBA? But for you as a father, what father wants to put that kind of pressure? You know, Zach, how many people have come up to me already who are rooting against that kid, who are rooting against him? Why? Not because of the kid, but because of the father. And that is crazy, to put that pressure on him. You think he'll be a target when he plays against Curry and those guys trying to light him up? I mean, I find that sad. I almost find it criminal, really, that a dad would do that. Sure, there's great love there. You can feel that. And sure, the kid jokes about it. But I'd like to know really what goes on when the kid is alone talking about it. You know, we will not know that. He says all the right things, and I just feel it's sad commentary. I mean, he could be Michael Jordan. I could be just the most asinine comments that are really no place for a kid. 495 shoe before he's ever played one game in the NBA. Give me a break.
Wrapping up with Dick Vitale, who joins us right now. I want to get back to the Knicks because I agree with you dead on Phil Jackson. He's been a disgrace in New York. And I know the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, they shut down Dickie V this year, but the Knicks, they've been a circus and they're still open. I have to ask you, though, this. The only reason he still has a job, here's my answer to your question. It has to be because he's the shield for James Dolan, and Dolan isn't getting that much criticism because it's all on Phil these days. Do you agree with that?
Well, you know, I don't know about all that. I just know this. He certainly has an incredible reputation, winning 11 championships. But after a while, you know, you got to forget that. You got to say, what have you done for us? I mean, I think the humiliation of Carmelo Anthony, I mean, whether you like him as a player or not, I mean, to humiliate a star like that and then come up now with Porzingis, we're making him available. I mean, what do you gain by that? I would like them to explain to me, what do you gain by doing that? What is the positives? How do you help the club? How do you help market those guys and get rid of them? And I don't know. I just find that mind-boggling, and that's why I love what Steve Kerr's done up in Golden State. He has a great relationship with those stars. He knows how to handle them. He knows how to make sure that they get in the limelight, feel good about themselves, and that's part of coaching. That's part of being an administrator, and I think that he fails. If I were giving him a grade, he's lucky I'm not his professor, because I would throw a big F, and I put that on Twitter. I said I'd give him a flat-out F for his tenure right now in New York. The only thing that he's succeeding in is running to the bank and the cash register's going ding-a-ling-ding, ding-a-ling-ding, and he's laughing at all of us who are fools.
Circling back to the Sixers, and the health is the big thing. You hit that right out of the park. If they could stay healthy, and let's say they add in another shooting guard like a Redick in free agency, how good do you think the Sixers could be next year? And how about the job that Brett Brown has in front of him for this year?
You know, I really, Coach Brown has really handled that tough situation so well, and I'm rooting for him. You know, I would love to see them somehow. I know it's not going to be easy, but the break even. If they can do that, what a great year that would be for them and the Philly people if they can go 41-41. But as we said right out the gate, we could talk all this we want. They got to get Embiid on the court for at least 70, 75 games. I mean, they got to get a guy like Simmons out there for 70, 75 games. You can't have stars of that quality playing like minimal number of games.
You're not concerned, though, about the health of Simmons for the future, right? That was probably just a one-year thing, right?
Well, I hope so. I think anytime you get a foot injury, you wonder. You know, my son-in-law's an orthopedic surgeon. He tells me about situations with people over the years. You know, sometimes a reoccurrence that, you know, always that fear. You always got that little fear, a little concern when there's a little ache and that little pain. I mean, the kid can certainly rebound. He's as good as a rebounder you'll find as a guard, and he's as good as a passer. I think at times he's a little too unselfish. I had him in a game or two, and I always felt that he was unselfish, too much so, and should be a little more assertive and a little more passionate about wanting to score and play.
Last one for Dick Vitale, who joins us right now. Josh Hart, he gets the last pick of the first round. Just how about Josh Hart and how you project him in the NBA with the Lakers?
You know, He's the guy you want on your team. I think the Lakers made a great choice there. Josh Hart's a winner, man. He's a winner with great attitude. He can't hurt you. He can play a couple of positions. I think that was a great pick for to have that kind of guy in your locker room. I think it's a positive.
And before we let Dick Vitale run, I have to give you a big round of applause, Dickie V. And I know you don't want any of the credit, and all the credit goes to the real heroes and the kids, but just an unbelievable job by you guys with your gala once again. Just tell me a little bit about the gala this past year.
Well, it was really super successful, Zach. Thank you for mentioning it because that means so much to me. We raised $3.2 million. I just 5 minutes before I came on your show, I'm reading a letter from a mom and dad who was at our gala with their son who lost his eye to cancer, writing a beautiful note here, and I just wrote back to them, thank you for your comments. And I'm going to tell you, there's nothing worse than seeing parents have to deal with children doing chemo and radiation. If people go to my website, they'll see a picture there of about 10 kids, beautiful-looking kids, kids like Joshua Fisher, who did 1,200 doses of chemotherapy, had 4 bone marrow transplants, and today's cancer-free. Think about if you're a dad and mom and you had a child going through that, how you live your life. It's painful to deal with that every day of your life. You know, as we're talking right today, I got another note here 2 days ago from a family. The family name is, you would know them, the Wiggins family. Well, they got a son that's really battling cancer big time. I mean big time. He did 108 hours, 4 straight days, laying in bed through intravenous, getting chemo to battle his cancer. Was told that the parents said they had to sign statements understanding there could be many, many side effects. And sure enough, there was. And he was at my gala, Cannon, 9 years old. He lost his hearing, had all his teeth knocked out, taken out because of the chemo, and just unbelievable what these people go through. And he wrote me a note that I did not know. He said, Dickie V, I'm hoping and praying I'm not going to be one of those parents that today. He says 7 moms and dads today are going to be dressing up, putting a suit on, putting a dress on, and going to the funeral of their child because 7 kids a day are losing their life to cancer. And that's why I beg people, join my team. Join my team. Jay Wright's on my team. Join my team. Just go to my website, dickvitaleonline.com, and make a donation. You'll see the picture of those kids. You click that picture. You look at those beautiful kids and know many of them battled brain cancer. They battled neuroblastoma, all these various cancers, acute lymphoblastic leukemia. I mean, it's unbelievable. We need money. Our oncologists tell me all the time there's just not enough money coming in for kids battling cancer. Only 4 cents out of every dollar raised for cancer research goes for pediatrics. So I beg you, make a donation, be part of my team, and help us raise $3.5 million. That's my goal for next year. We're honoring my buddy Greeny, Mike Greenberg next year. We're honoring Leonard Hamilton, and we're honoring Jim Harbaugh of Michigan. We have at the event over 70 celebrities. This year we had people like Urban Meyer and people like Mike Bray, and you name them, they were with us. It's just unbelievable. So again, I beg you out there, people, please donate. Go to dickvitaleonline.com.
Dickie V, you couldn't have said it any better. We appreciate all the great work that you do. And next time you're in New Jersey, let's grab a Ruts Hut Ripper and talk a little bit about Ernie Blood, all right?
Hey, what about the Yankees, man? What about the Yankees, Mr. Judge? I mean, that's unbelievable what he's doing. Here comes the Judge, baby. Oh, the Cashman hit a home run there. What a lethal duo they got, man. I mean, you think about certainly Judge and Sanchez. Now the Phillies, that's another story. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the Phillies.
It's a
baseball.
mess.
So here's we go.
And
we give an A grade. We give an A to the Yankees. We give an F to the Knicks. We give an A to the Sixers. And we give an F to the Phillies.
You didn't bring up the Mets, too. That's a big F, too.
Oh, yeah, the Mets. Well, they had so many injuries.
The pain.
Oh, man, that pitching staff's been really, I love baseball. I'm going to see my Rays play tomorrow. I got box seats, season tickets right by the first row next to the dugout. I've had them from day one. I love baseball. I go there, I want pictures. I'm like a little groupie, and those guys are asking me to sign baseballs. The baseball. They say, Dickie V, sign this ball, take a picture. I say, are you serious?
It's showtime, baby. Here we go.
All right, here we go, baby.
Appreciate
Simmons comes down the corner. Markelle Fultz to the corner. Markelle to Embiid. Embiid goes to the hole. He dunks. Here come the Sixers on defense. There's a steal in the back court. Transition. Here comes Fultz. Throws the lob up to Simmons. Slam, jam, bam. And the Sixers beat the Warriors.
I love it. Music to my ears. Dickie V, we appreciate it. You're the best. Thanks so much.
Take care, buddy.
There's Dick Vitale joining us on the Zach Gelb Show. Fox Sports 920, the Jersey. Wow. That was awesome. All he could have done to make it a little even better, throw in a little, it's a diaper dandy, a little runner by Markelle Fultz. Are you serious, baby? That was great. I didn't think we were going to get play-by-play from Dickie V. But seriously, we can have fun with everything. We could talk about Phil Jackson being a mess and also the success of the Philadelphia 76ers and the crazy state of baseball when you go up and down the turnpike here with the Yankees being good and the Philadelphia Phillies being a disaster and the Mets being a disaster and the Mets just complaining about Yasiel Puig admiring the home run, which was ridiculous, or the Philadelphia Phillies with Herrera getting picked off at third and running through the stop sign. The most important part of that conversation was the job that he does with this foundation each and every year to help kids that are battling through the toughest of times with cancer. And the job that Dick Vitale does each and every year is just one of the best jobs in fundraising that you'll ever see. Zach Gelb Show, Fox Sports 920, the Jersey, 609-919-9200. By the way, it was 31 games last year for Joel Embiid, not 37. So 31 games that he was on the court. It seems like 37, though, because January was a very long month in a good way for the Philadelphia 76ers. Let me bring on my intern, Adam, who is a season ticket holder for the Philadelphia 76ers. We heard him sing the Sixers theme song the other day. We're not going to make you do that today. Don't worry.
Appreciate that.
We don't want to hear. Too many people called in, complained. They said, what was that guy doing singing? Okay, so you got the Feds, and then in addition, you got Covington, whoever they will add in free agency.
Yeah.
If they stay healthy, and that's the big thing, what are you thinking this year?
Win-wise, I mean, what they have last year, 28?
Mm-hmm.
I think we can get, honestly, in the 40s.
40s? Wow, that's a big jump.
I mean, we jumped last year, it was 10 to 28, so we had 18 plus. And now we're adding even more talent than we added last year. So I think there should be a considerable increase. I mean, maybe not early on because they have to learn how to play together, but, halfway through the season, I think there could be a good win streak going on.
Here is the thing that we're going to look at. So the Bulls made the playoffs as the 8th seed up against the Celtics and lost in the first round. They were a 500 team, 41-41. They could be 500, right?
I think so.
I think they can. It's all about them staying healthy.
Definitely.
Dick Vitale hit that one out of the park with that. They need to stay healthy because how many games is Embiid going to play this year?
Right, and he's going to probably start off on a minutes restriction.
Yeah, and I know Colangelo this morning on Mike and Mike says, it's full go, everything, and then he backtracked. He didn't double down on that. He backtracked at the press conference. It's whenever the medical staff gives me the okay, which still scares the crap out of me with this medical staff. I would have to imagine Embiid's going to be on a minutes restriction. Covington probably going to be on a minutes restriction coming off the meniscus injury. Ben Simmons, full go. I don't think that will be an habitual injury. He's not going to play Summer League, so he'll have his time to rest. And I'll make a big deal out of that. Fultz, I know he had the injuries at the end of the season. Not concerned about that. And Dario's the homie, right?
Exactly.
So Dario should be fine.
Dario should be fine, yeah.
How many games, for the Sixers to make the playoffs, how many games do Embiid have to play? He played 31 last year.
And there's how many games total? 82?
Mm-hmm. 41 on the home court at the center and 41 on the road.
Right. I think he needs to play in a good amount of them. I would say upwards to 60.
Yeah. If he gives me 62, I think that's a success this year.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I want to see him playing a few back-to-backs.
Yes.
You still have to be careful. You don't go all in this year to make the playoffs, but that next move that they make is going to be fascinating because now you know what they have in the draft.
Yeah.
What are they going to do in free agency? If they get J.J. Redick, and you give me Redick, a healthy Embiid, 60 games, let's say, for Embiid.
Yeah.
You get a full Simmons, you get a full Fultz. Hey, that works nicely. A full Simmons, like full season, and then a full Fultz. Yeah, that team's going to make the playoffs if they could do that, especially when you look at the rest of the conference.
Right, exactly.
The Hawks now stink. The Pacers, who knows if they'll have Paul George by the start of the season. The Bulls just traded away Jimmy Butler. The Heat, I'm not scared of the Heat. Yeah.
What about Minnesota now?
Well, they're in the West.
They're in the West. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So that doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, you're right. There really is not, there's
let's look at this conference right now. The Nets. The Magic. The Knicks. Hold on, let me stop doing the sound effect myself when I can just
the
do
real
it here.
sound.
The Knicks. The Hornets.
They're always around the 8th seed.
And they just got Dwight Howard.
You're right, they did.
Pistons. They're going to lose the guard. The Heat. The Bulls. The Bulls. And that's all. Stop. Actually, Hawks.
Keep on going. There really isn't anyone. You're right.
Celtics. No, the Celtics.
Yeah.
They're not going to be
and
better.
Cavs.
Celtics, Cavs, Raptors,
Yeah.
Wizards.
Sure.
The Bucks.
Yeah, I mean they're
I'll
another
go
young
the Bucks just
up-and-coming
because
team.
of the Greek Freak, and they just had two games over 500 and made the playoffs. But other than that 6, who's the team that scares you? That's their range this year, 7 or 8 seed.
Yeah,
And if they want to get the 7 or 8 seed, Embiid's got to play at least 60 games.
sure.
Because what Embiid does defensively is just unbelievable.
Completely.
What Embiid does all over the court.
Yeah.
But if you remember that game up against Houston, which everyone does, that block on Harden.
Yeah.
Because the media overflow was out of this world for that game. I was all the way up top. That's when I just started covering the Sixers, and they were like, they didn't know how much of a big deal I was before they put me downstairs for the rest of the season. So they put me up top. And it was actually better that they put me up top because when you're down low, you're behind the basket. It's sometimes tough to see. You get that big fat guy in front of you that rips off his shirt all the time.
Big Daddy.
Yeah, I like Big Daddy. He's a nice guy. But it's tough when you're sitting behind him. With that being said, though, I was up top, and you just saw Embiid running like a deer. And then he just pinned James Harden's shot. It was awesome.
He's so big. Not only his height, that he's a thick guy. There's certain guys you see that are his height.
That's what she said, by the way. You're just walking into these this week.
But there are certain guys that are as tall as him that, their legs look like they're going to snap. Mm-hmm. He's like a really menacing presence.
Hey, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they just got to stay healthy. So how about Dickie V, though? Mentioning Jahlil Okafor. Well, is that something in the ESPN water these days?
Yeah, I don't know.
When last night they're saying Jahlil Okafor is a potential starter, they had him in a starting category.
Yeah, that was weird because it literally said guard, forward, center.
Yeah, it made no sense.
Yeah,
especially how they devalue the center position now in the NBA. But I get why they're doing that right with the Sixers because of Embiid.
Right.
But that was very bizarre.
Yeah, it was.
And I'll say this about Okafor. That was someone that in high school, wow. In college, national champion, wow. So you thought he was going to be really good.
Sure.
But he's been lazy. Real lazy.
Can't play defense
And this is the thing, though. Oh, he can't play defense. He's abysmal on defense. But when you look at one of those players that's in the top 5, is in the top part of the draft, you need to look at where their work ethic is and if they're going to be complacent or if they're going to be a diligent player. Okafor is very complacent, and he's had some off-the-court issues with the Ben Franklin Bridge driving incident, the incident with outside the bar in Boston, but his play on the court has been so bad. He's been complacent, in my opinion. Markelle Fultz, I asked Brian Colangelo this last night. He has that chip on his shoulder because he was cut at Mather Catholic and made the during his sophomore year, made the junior varsity. And Brian Colangelo said last night, and I'm paraphrasing, but this was the general gist of it, was that chip, it's not obnoxious. He's not floating it in front of you. But you could tell when I asked him the question that we played earlier in the show, what do you need to improve on? Well, everyone talks about the free throw shooting. He'll have to improve on his free throw shooting. The defense, I don't think he's that bad defensively. But he talked about the defense, and he just talked about, the number one thing he said was, I want to improve all aspects of my game. I like that answer. Not just focus on what people are saying negatives. I really like this kid's mentality, and I hope he becomes a big-time star for the Philadelphia 76ers. 5 o'clock straight up. You'll listen to Fox Sports 920 The Jersey. WNJE, Trenton, Philadelphia. Mitch Lawrence coming up at 5:15. Great stuff with Dickie V, baby. Oh, we got to cut up that play-by-play, by the way. That's going to be making the rounds on the internet later in the show. Zach Gelb Show, Fox Sports 920 The Jersey. 5 o'clock straight up. We'll take a break. Coming on back, hour number 2 on this Fultz Mania Friday, baby. Fultz Friday. The Sixers got Markelle Fultz.
With the first pick in the 2017 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Markelle Fultz from the University of Washington.